So we're doing a bit of double dipping today because not only am I wanting to talk about the spending event, I'm wanting to pull I can't pronounce her name. I never learned to announce her name, and at this point I'm too scared to, so I'm just going to fail in front of everybody, and if someone wants to laugh at me, maybe that's fine. So I've already done one temple, and I'm thinking the biggest spending event is here, right? I got really excited then. But no, the big spending event's here, and I want to talk about it, because as somebody said there, it's about $150. For me, about £170, because, you know, I'm in the UK. Call it Guang Guang, yeah, Zhao Guang, there we go. Now obviously, big new shiny toy, it's like, hey, new character, tier 0, thank you Pridewind, hail Pridewind, don't listen to tier lists, they're a joke. We don't have Miyabi with an expert tag, but more on that later. She's good. Do you need her? No, probably not. Except for the guarantee rerun. Yeah, the guarantee rerun's going to be nice. That's why I'm going to get Soldier Zero from that. But I'm debating now with the, like, spending money. In fact, what's everyone else's philosophy on spending events? I'm not a huge fan. And I think this one in particular highlights a bit of a problem with Hoyoverse as a whole, and why I'm not a big fan of how they're doing things. Now, don't get me wrong, if you were planning to spend money anyway, that's fine, clearly you can. I'm in a position where, thankfully and fortunately, I can spend the money to, you know, get bonus. In fact, I'm talking about bonus. What I'm talking about is when I can find it. Here we go, I found it finally. I'm in a position where I can spend 100, 150 to get this. Nobody should go for that. It's just cosmetics which no one's going to use, let's be honest. And the reason I'm doing it this way is because I'm not going to say this in a crash out kind of way. Now, we all know some creators out there like to really hype up and exaggerate, you know, how they're getting the message across. Like, they'll be like, rather than going, for example, I don't like how Hoyoverse have implemented spending events, especially because it's been 5 in the past 3 months or so. I mean, 3, 4. HSR's had 3 of them. I believe ZZZ's now got 1. Genshin, I have no idea. But I just don't like how it might influence the market further down the line and other game developers and other games. I'd say it like that. Whereas I could say, yo, it's fucking dog shit. Who likes this? You shouldn't. Bad game. Okay. That's not going to get the point across. Actually laying out facts and, you know, nice, well, just saying it in a nice way is going to get it more across. We all know what I mean, man. We've all seen creators like that. And I think that's a little bit disingenuous. Well, not disingenuous. How do I want to say that? Yeah, it's a live service game classic. It's not Hoyo specific. It's just that Hoyo have done it quite frequently. So who's to say, Kuro Games, for example, don't look at this and go, well, it worked for Hoyoverse the past 5 times. Which, thankfully, people always say, well, I have faith that my game developers won't do this. Do you, though? Because let's be honest. Saying, oh, I have faith in this company, I have faith in these devs, or faith in these executives not to do this thing. They don't have faith in you. They're not going to go, wow, they really care about us, we can't take their money. We have to give them free stuff. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I looked at the free Zhao. Hey, that's cool. I don't want free Zhao. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Free characters aren't free. All this has done now is, like we've mentioned before, hyped up the FOMO. And what do I mean by FOMO? Well, Zhao probably needs her best in slot Wenjin. I was called it weapon, man. I need to get used to saying Wenjin, by the way. I'm sure there's a craftable version out there. But there's going to be a clear difference between Zhao with signature, Zhao with craftable 4-star. In fact, it's probably off the screen. Big fucking difference. Hello, gambling addiction. Hey, how you doing, Sparkle? Dab me up, dab me up. Hoyoverse is big, so it's an example for even outside the gacha circle. Exactly, who in the gaming sphere hasn't heard of Hoyoverse? For negative or positive, everybody knows of Hoyoverse. She's not that good, to be honest. Well, that's fine, that's good then. But it's probably good for her. I don't know, I've not actually read this, because I have no interest in Zhao. She was going to be a big skip for me. In fact, she probably will be. I'll level up to level 40, forget that she exists, and then go, oh, wait, yeah, I almost forgot. It doesn't feel like a thank you event. It says film goer thank you event. It doesn't feel like one. And I dislike how... Look, I'm not going to turn around to a company and say, how dare you do this thing that you are well known for, that every company does to get more money? How dare you in particular? What I will talk negatively about is calling it a thank you gift. I don't feel very thankful. Do you? Exactly, Aina. I'm going to keep saying this. I'm going to keep saying it all the time. I've said it before about the ZZZ devs in particular, okay? Everybody goes, these devs suck. How could the devs implement such a thing? How could the devs power creep X unit? First of all, that's the nature of these games. In fact, any game, things will get power creep. Any live service game, power creep exists. Devs are trying to combat power creep, as we've seen. We go over real quickly. The buffs, that was it. We've all seen here, and I've talked about this, and I love this. The buffs. And I can't wait for. But it's the executives who have gone, hey, give Zhao out for free, but we can market for Wenjun and Xiaoguang best in slots for all of them. We need to call the executives out more. The devs are fine, I think. Well, not fine, but things always be better. It's personal preference at this point. I could be like, well, I don't like the fact Rina got buffed instead of Haramasu. There's probably a Rina player going, oh, thank God she got buffed. I could see why I breathed down ZZ's neck. Exactly. And I don't like how people will look at this and think, ZZZ, classic Hoyo. ZZZ is unfortunately plagued by having the Hoyo tag. But it doesn't feel like a Hoyo game. Xiao being free doesn't mean you have to get a Wenjun. No, okay, that's a good point. That's a good point. You don't have to get her Wenjun, but she probably feels more comfortable with the Wenjun. And it's a FOMO thing as well, just because it's like, oh, I got Zhao for free. I don't know if she's going to be good or not. Look at Haramasu, for example. In fact, look at a lot of free characters who have been released. A lot of them have kind of fallen off, like a few months after the release, which is fine. That's how things work. I feel like I'm getting off topic there. Let's try and get back to the spending event. In fact, let me go and pull Xiaoguang. Because I'm actually debating skipping Xiaoguang. As much as I think she's cool, she's probably fun and fine. My account's already a scenario where I've got Miyabe still. You know, tier 0, 1.5, who cares? Slap an expert tag on that and there we go. Perfect. Because she is. I still think she's tier 0. I still think she's the best unit in the game, hands down, bar none. But that's just me. That's the point of a Wenjun. Sparkle, I be honest, I forgot exactly what you're talking about now. So, I've just seen there, 50-50 exists in all these gacha games tells us that they don't really care. Exactly, Bigman. And I wanna talk about that in particular. These games don't care that one person has said, this is bad. I don't like this. They care about the many people who have spent money because they're going, yeah, I love this. And those are the people I want to try and reach out to. And not in a accusatory, aggressive way, where it's a case of, hey, don't you dare like this thing. How fucking dare you? This is going to ruin the gacha space for everybody. The gacha space is, 1, already ruined by the executives, and 2, there is no 2. I lied. It's just the one reason. Yo, it's how you doing? Yo, dab me up. So yeah, there's not really much else I want to say there. I feel like I've kind of covered what I wanted to talk about the most. This is kind of like covered everything, but no, I could probably still do more. Yeah, Money Bean's good track from executives moment. Yeah. What do you guys think? How do you guys feel about spending events? It's no good me just yapping here and there going, here's what I think. I've made my feelings very clear. I'm going to keep making that same sentiment clear every single time I talk about this. I don't like them. I don't like that it's called a thank you event. Call it for what it is. Because like I said, I don't feel thankful. Do you? It's also just a case of they want you to feel the FOMO. They want you to go, oh my god, new patch 2.5, end of the season 2. Oh, the story's going to be great. Void Hunter levels of shit. Like, whoa, I have to get everything. You don't have to get everything. In fact, it says here, Film Goer thank you event. Look at who's available. We've got a limited 5-star. Limited 5-star. Limited 5-star.
Let me finish my cup of hot water.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 standard units. But let's be honest. Outside of Light Cohen, nobody's playing. Yeah, the ZZ title of event is weird. Yeah, exactly, Sparkle, it is weird. But good if you kind of want to spend money. Yeah, if you, like I said before, like I said earlier, I'm going to reiterate that just in case anyone's misconstrued anything. Nobody who is going to spend money in the first place is going to go, well, I don't like this. Me, for example, I've wanted Burness for so long. I've really wanted Burness, and I'm going to get her. Do you know why? Because I'm fortunate enough and in a position where I can go, yeah, I can drop a couple, I could drop 100, I could drop 150, 175. Sure, fuck it, I want Burness. But after that, I'm done. It's all about self-control as well. Self-control plays a huge part in this. Exactly what I've been saying is, for people who are going to spend money, it's a thank you event. And Hoyoverse going, thank you for spending money. It's an encouraged place to spend more, but once again, that's a choice. Yeah, just, devs aren't evil by doing that in any shape or form. Once again, it's not the devs, it's the executives, and they're the ones who suck. Dwight wants that 11th yacht. Okay, his first 2 sank. You know, they're out of commission, he needs 3 more. And you will notice if I keep making that joke, it's going to be more yachts every single time. For example, next time I mention it, it'd be like, imagine if, okay, rather than just 3 limited characters, there were 5 limited characters. Maybe there's a lighter and a trigger. That's because Dwight wants 5 more yachts. That's how that joke's going to go. I feel like I'm too red. Hold up. But I need a new microphone. I really do. Because at spending events is meta like Miyabi Ashton event, it's a big problem. But now it feels don't care if I spend. Day. I can't believe I didn't think about that. I did have something I wanted to talk about, and that was it. For example, Jane's on here. So Jane's on the rerun. Jane's on the, oh my god. So Jane's on the, fuck. You know, I've tried doing this 3 separate times. I'm just going to say Jane's on here because new skin's out. That's it. That's why she's on the thank you gift. Which is perfectly fine. You know, Jane's also a pretty good character. I believe her M2 is completely fuck-busted. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, yeah, so Jane's M2 is fucking insane. If you have an M1 Jane, M2 is going to be great. It's going to be fucking fantastic. I did get stunlocked by a skin. Stop, okay, it's not a good skin.
Which alias should I use
crap.
this time?
I've lost my train of thought now. I've been totally sidetracked. That's the problem with Jane. I was like, what am I talking about again? Oh, right, yeah, spend money, obviously. Get Jane. No. Yeah, maybe we'll spend a few money. Okay, on one hand, Sparkle, I both agree with the sentiment and disagree. Let me fucking, my retinas are being burnt right now. And now I'm more red. I look like I'm angry about this, but I'm not. What were we talking about? Let me get fucking Jane off the screen. I'm getting too distracted.
Let's
Let me get
fire it up.
What were we talking about again? Yeah, spend money, get burners. No, someone's gonna be out there going, look at these subliminal messages. You, Mr. Lemon, have just made me waste $500 getting Burness and Jane. How dare you? Well, first of all, that's not on me. That's on you for being an idiot. With great taste, mind you. Especially about Burness. Ooh, Burness. No, I'm getting too distracted. If you can't tell, I'm a straight boy. I like Burness. She's a demographic. In fact, real briefly, I got this picture beforehand. So I'm talking about like Jay Guang, or Zhao Guang, Burness, Jane, all that stuff. I'm the target audience. So, yeah, the meme holds true. But there's also a reason why, when you look at this, immediately upon loading up the game, you get hit with this. It's because, you might have guessed it, they want you to, you know, bust out. And it's 36 days, so plenty of time. I'm sure it's grindable free-to-play, absolutely. There's probably not going to be a lot of free-to-play accessible polls in this patch, let's be honest, because there's no point having a spending event in a free-to-play friendly patch. That's just not how that works. Not a game dev choice, that's an executive choice. Back from ads, you're also the target audience. You should have said that. I would have stopped completely for that. There it is. So this appears right at the start of the game. Looks beautiful, by the way. It does look incredible.
Yunquai Summit, heeding your summons.
And ZZZ aren't the first people to do this. I believe it was Star Rail with Castorus, which was just the downfall of everything. I believe it was Castorus first. Firedon got one. Hyacine got one. I'm pretty sure Wuthering Waves have done it as well. Not to compare the games by any means. I have to stress that because otherwise people will go, why are you talking about Wuthering Waves? Why would you? It's a ZZZ video. How dare? Like that. That's why it's a good comparison. Not even a comparison. It's a potential fact. I'm not sure. I might be Mandelaing effect myself right now. I'm pretty sure Wuthering Waves had one for Cartafia. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we don't talk about Sarini, by the way. In fact, I regret saying that. I feel physically sick. I might end the stream here right now because of that. Miyabe first. It was Miyabe first. See, I wasn't playing ZZZ back then. I started around about 2.2. Well, I say started. I restarted back in 2.2, like fully. Not 2.2. 2.3, 2.4. Basically, whenever I did the marathon catching up was when I really got heavily back into ZZZ. And I don't regret it for a moment. See, I'm going to keep being on this crusade, by the way. Sure, I'm not trying to, white knight any company. I know for a fact that I have no stake in, defending Hoyo's practices or admonishing Hoyo's practices. Because either way, if I say, hey, I like that ZZZ have done a spending event. It's great, it's good for people who want to spend money in the first half. I get fucking nothing from me saying that. Hoyoverse aren't going to, sit down, see this video and go, wow, oh my god, he loves us so much. Wow, we need to sponsor this immediately, please. No. And I get nothing from saying, oh, this is terrible. This is absolutely dog shit for the player base. First of all, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, you need CCs to call out gacha games as a whole. Exactly. I like to pride myself on being somebody who, if something's good, I'll say it's good. If something's bad, I'll call it bad. I've nothing to lose or gain. In fact, me calling this bad will just alienate the ZZZ players and like fans who like the game. It's just, all I'm saying right now is just how I feel about this, how I wish they had done things. And if you agree, great, we agree on something. If you disagree, great, we disagree on something. Let me know, let's start a conversation, let's talk about this kind of stuff. Because that's what we're here for first and all. We're both here to play a game that we both like. Maybe for different reasons, sure. Actually, I wanted to make this a whole video, like, way earlier. I was going to work on a script and everything. Why do people in the same fandom argue with people in the same fandom? Okay, let's say, for example, you say, I like ZZZ for the story. I think the story is amazing. And I go, well, I like ZZZ for the gameplay. I think the gameplay is some of, if not the best in the market. I think the models flow really smoothly. And then you go and go, I don't like the combat, therefore, you're wrong. Do we not both enjoy the same game? Do we not both love ZZZ? Exactly, instead of ZZ's evil for spending event, it should be gacha games need to be stopped weaponizing FOMO. Yes, exactly. Man got ADHD topic. I mean, that too. You should probably know this. Autistic, so obviously we're having a little bit ADHD sprinkled in there for extra spice. You know how it is. Speaking of autism, I'm going to do one single wish on this. Oh, we didn't get it. We're going to end it there, I think. I think that's a good place to end. I've pretty much talked about everything I wanted to talk about. We covered everything I wanted to cover, more or less. There might be more further down the line. Don't get me started on tier lists, by the way. I don't agree with Pride Run's tier list at all. But that's just a Pride Run problem I have. I think the website is great. I think the guides are useful. We're getting off topic. End of the day, just spend responsibly. It's not actually mentioned here. If we go to the signal shop, and we go to Monochrome Market, where, oh where, does it say, please spend responsibly? If it did, it would be really tiny in the corner here going, please spend responsibly. So we can make a case out of me, I suppose. I have barely spent on ZZ up until this banner. The spending event probably did have some sway in me I purchased today, I can't lie. And the fact she's got like sibling drama, my favourite. That's a whole other conversation right there. Arbalist. Everybody, look at Arbalist and pray, I guess. Has pretty hair. With that sparkle, we're going to end on a positive, I guess. She has pretty hair. She does. She really does. And I guess this hair's nice as well. Look, I'm an Ultra Instinct fan, what can I say? Go Dragon Ball, woo. Hey, like, comment, subscribe, let me know how you feel about this. Because it's a good topic to have, it's a good conversation to have. We should be having this more often, even not just during spending events. Just during hotly anticipated banners, hotly anticipated characters, just everybody. That said, video's done. Awkward cut, stay refreshing.